Would you like to know why you're not getting multiple interviews? You've come to the right place because in today's video, I'm going to share why you're not getting invited to multiple interviews. Watch this video to the end to learn the 5 reasons why you aren't getting multiple interviews. Hi, I'm Jo Randolph and I'm a branding consultant based in London, and I'll help you become an expert and leader in the field you care about most. On this channel, I share everything you need to know about how to get the job you want and how to get the income that provides the lifestyle that you want, in addition to being an expert and leader in the field that you care about most. If you want to see videos like this, come and join me and subscribe. I post new videos every single week. Okay, so let's get right into this. This is something that I feel I had to create because I've received so many questions from people saying, I don't understand why I'm not getting interviews. I've seen so many YouTube videos, I've read so many blog posts, I feel like I'm doing everything and I'm still not getting interviews. Can you tell me why? The fact that you're watching this tells me that you're probably in a similar situation where you've sent multiple CVs and you're still not getting a call back. Well, in this video, I'm going to share with you the 5 most common mistakes I've seen people make and that you can actually do something about to start turning things around and start getting multiple interviews. Now, we don't have a lot of time, so I can't go into all of this into depth today, but what I can say is that if you want to figure out how to get the best job offer you can get, then I totally invite you to try my best job offer quiz. This is a free and fun quiz you can do to discover the best job offer you can get and also how to get multiple interviews and job offers. To do this quiz, simply click on the link in the description box below. Now let's get into the 5 mistakes that are stopping you from getting multiple interviews. Mistake number 1 is that you think tailoring your CV is enough to get you multiple interviews. I hate to break the news to you, my friend, but almost everybody tailors their CV. The reality is that when you're sending an application online, it's not just you that's applying for this job. You know, maybe back in the day, I remember back in the day when I was applying for jobs. Now, recent graduates won't relate to this, but anyone that's a little bit older will remember this time. When I used to apply for a job, there would be a job posting in my local newspaper and I would work for a company that was based in my local city. And so even though there were applicants and there were other candidates, there really weren't that many people I was competing against. And so by tailoring my CV, I was looking more professional or more like the right fit than maybe someone who hadn't bothered. The difference is that now that we're in the internet, now that everybody has Google, now that everybody has access to the same amount of information, what ends up happening is that many of us end up writing very similar CVs to the next person. Because the reality is that when you're applying for a role, other people have good experience too. Other people have a good education too. So it's really difficult for an employer or for a hiring manager to actually see which one is better. You actually need to know how to write a standout CV. Now, to learn how to do this, I actually do have a separate video on how to do this called How to Write a Standout CV. I think it's something called like that. So make sure you watch this video. The second mistake that you make is that you also put 10% of your effort into getting a job at a specific company. Often when you're applying for roles, you might be looking at various companies. More often than not, unless you're really into working for that company, you probably haven't spent that much time at all. But here's the thing. The way that you get around this is by making sure that any application you send, you spend 100% of your effort into making this the best application possible. Now, this means not only just writing a CV, this means doing as much research as you can about the company. This means looking to see if there are other ways you can apply to work there. Maybe you can reach out to their hiring manager. Maybe you can reach out to a recruiter. Maybe you can network. Maybe you can create a professional bio website that shows a bit about you and your experience. You know, my point is that there are different things and different tools you can use to actually show that you are interesting and worth interviewing. Get the person receiving it to think, we have to interview this person. We have to bring them in. And the best way to bring them in isn't just to send them your CV, but is to do other things that show that you are a standout candidate. Now, the reality is that you will be more successful if you put in 100% into 3 to 5 job applications or 3 to 5 companies, as opposed to putting 10% into 20, 10, 15, 5 companies. Now, the third mistake you make is that you're probably only looking for jobs online. You cannot only be looking for jobs online. And the reason for this is that according to research, 80% of the jobs that are available in this market are not posted online. That means that when you're applying and you're looking for a job, you're really only applying for the 20% of roles that are actually available in the market. This is why it's really important to actually start to be creative and start to figure out different ways for you to get multiple interviews. An old school way you can do it is to go fishing. So what I used to do and what I loved doing was to cold email. I would handpick 5 companies I was really interested in working for, and I would send them an email that basically dishes of why I want to work for them and the impact that I believe I could have for them. So that even though they didn't have a job advertised on their website, I sent an email and a cover letter and a CV that was so aligned with the purpose of making an impact at their company that they actually were interested in interviewing me for a role. Now, the nice thing about cold emailing and actually getting a call back when you cold email the company is that you stand out. You stand out as someone who has taken the initiative. You look like someone who is really interested in working for this company, so much so that you would apply even when there isn't a vacancy. And you know what the best bit is? There aren't any competitors. You know, there are no other candidates sometimes. Sometimes the candidates, you know, you're competing with are internal candidates, but often they aren't even hiring at all. And when you're in that situation, it's perfect, because if the hiring manager and the director or the consultant thinks, this person is actually really interesting and we think they could be a good fit and we think they can make an impact in our company, and then they're just going to give you the offer. You know, there is no hard conversation about should we hire this person or that person. It's blatantly all yours. So that is a mistake I've seen a lot of people make, is that they don't think creatively about how to increase their chances of getting interviewed and getting multiple job offers. And then the fourth mistake, which is kind of relevant to the third mistake, is that you don't have tools that make you stand out and look like someone worth talking to and interviewing. Now, what I mean by this is that the only thing you have is your CV. Now, I do believe that a great CV can help in terms of getting interviews, because at the end of the day, that's what they look at when they are evaluating whether you are technically qualified and competent to do the role. But a CV doesn't necessarily make you worth interviewing. Usually what makes someone interesting and worth interviewing is when the hiring manager or the director or person that's interviewing is actually really excited to meet you. It's really hard to get excited to meet someone over a CV, but it's always easy to get excited about someone that you've read about in a blog, maybe someone that has a website that tells a little story about them or that shows a little bit about the experience. You know, they can put a face to you, they can see your skills, they can see your work, you know, or someone who has a really great portfolio. Now, when you do that, you're actually someone who stands out and you actually end up being a much more interesting candidate than someone who has simply sent a CV and a cover letter. Now let's talk about the fifth mistake that's stopping you from getting multiple interviews. And this is last, but it's certainly not least. Ultimately, the reason why you aren't getting multiple interviews is because you don't look like the right fit. Now, when I say this, what I mean is when a company is hiring or a company is looking for someone to join their team, ultimately it's for one reason. They need you to help them achieve some objective, some goal that their business has. And so the only reason why they're going to interview you is if you actually look like someone who can help them get a result. So it's really, really important that when you're reaching out to them, you look like someone who is not only experienced, not only interesting by having a blog or a website or by networking, but you're someone who gets their business. You are someone who cares about making an impact at the organization, and you are the right fit for that reason. Now, I have a separate video on how to look like the right fit, I believe, so make sure you watch that because I go into more detail into how to do that. And yeah, that's it. Those are the 5 mistakes that are stopping you from getting multiple interviews. I would love to know what you think. Is there anything that surprised you? Let me know by leaving a comment in the box below. Anyways, thank you so much for watching this video. Again, if you want to learn how to get the best job offer you can get, make sure you try my free best job offer assessment to discover the best job offer you could get and also how you can get it. I shall speak to you soon, and I'm wishing you a wonderful week. All right, bye.